Have you ever wondered how a single, devastating event can change the world forever? It's a sobering thought, but throughout history, disasters, both natural and man-made, have acted as powerful catalysts for change, fundamentally reshaping our societies, our technologies, and even how we think. Today, we're going to explore some of the most pivotal events that, in their wake, left an indelible mark on our world. Let's journey back to 1755, to the city of Lisbon, Portugal. On a quiet All Saints' Day morning, a massive earthquake, followed by a tsunami and raging fires, reduced this vibrant metropolis to rubble. The Lisbon earthquake was one of the deadliest in history, but its impact stretched far beyond the immediate loss. Philosophers across Europe, like Voltaire, questioned the prevailing optimistic belief that we lived in the best of all possible worlds. This intellectual shockwave helped usher in the Age of Enlightenment, promoting reason, scientific inquiry, and a sense of human responsibility in the face of nature's power. It was a turning point, forcing humanity to look for answers not just in faith, but in science and engineering. This event also spurred the birth of seismology, the scientific study of earthquakes, as people desperately sought to understand the ground beneath their feet. Now, fast forward to the early 20th century. April 14, 1912. The RMS Titanic, the unsinkable marvel of engineering, strikes an iceberg and sinks into the icy Atlantic. Over 1,500 souls were lost. The tragedy sent shockwaves of disbelief and outrage across the globe. How could this happen? The investigation revealed a cascade of failures, insufficient lifeboats, a lack of emergency drills, and ignored ice warnings. The public outcry was immense and led to immediate, sweeping changes in maritime safety. The very first International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea was convened in 1914. This treaty mandated that all ships carry enough lifeboats for everyone on board, conduct mandatory safety drills, and maintain a 24-hour radio watch. The Titanic disaster, in its horror, created the foundation for modern maritime safety regulations that protect millions of travelers to this day. Let's shift our focus to a different kind of disaster, one that choked the very air people breathed. In 1952, a perfect storm of cold weather, windless conditions, and heavy coal pollution created the Great Smog of London. For 5 days, a thick, toxic fog enveloped the city. Transportation ground to a halt, and people could barely see their own feet. It was initially treated as a typical London fog, but the aftermath was horrifying. It is estimated that the smog caused the premature deaths of up to 12,000 people and made over 100,000 ill. This catastrophic event was a terrifying wake-up call. It directly led to the passage of the Clean Air Act of 1956 in the United Kingdom, a landmark piece of legislation that restricted the burning of coal in urban areas and introduced smokeless zones. This act became a model for environmental protection laws around the world, proving that governments could and should take action to protect the health of their citizens from pollution. These are just a few examples, but the pattern is clear. The devastating Galveston hurricane of 1900 led to the construction of the massive Galveston seawall and the raising of the city's elevation, pioneering new approaches to coastal defense. The Chernobyl nuclear disaster in 1986 exposed critical flaws in reactor design and safety protocols, leading to the creation of the International Nuclear and Radiological Event Scale and a global push for stronger safety cultures in the nuclear industry. Each tragedy, in its own way, became a harsh but powerful teacher. The lessons learned from these past events are not just historical footnotes. They are actively shaping our present and future. When engineers design skyscrapers in earthquake-prone regions like Tokyo or San Francisco, they are using knowledge gained from a century of seismic events. The building codes that require flexible foundations and counterweight systems are the direct descendants of lessons learned from collapsed structures in past quakes. They are building on the legacy of Lisbon, learning to build not just up, but to build with resilience. Similarly, when meteorologists today track a hurricane, they use advanced satellite imagery and computer models that were developed and refined in the wake of countless past storms. The emergency response plans that cities activate, the evacuation routes they map out, and the public warning systems they employ are all part of a complex system of preparedness. This system is constantly being updated with data from every new disaster. From Hurricane Katrina to Superstorm Sandy, we study the patterns of past disasters to forecast future risks, allowing communities to prepare, adapt, and hopefully mitigate the worst of the impact. This process of learning from catastrophe is a fundamental part of human progress. It highlights our remarkable capacity for adaptation and innovation. Disasters force us to confront our vulnerabilities, to question our assumptions, and to work together to find solutions. They drive advancements in science, engineering, and public policy. They push us to build stronger, safer, and more resilient communities. While we can never forget the immense human cost of these events, we must also recognize them as pivotal moments that have profoundly shaped the world we live in today. They are somber reminders of nature's power and our own fallibility, but they are also testaments to our enduring spirit of survival and our relentless drive to create a safer future. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through some of history's most transformative events. If you found this interesting, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more deep dives into the events that have shaped our world. We'd love to have you as part of our community. Until next time, stay curious.